Hey everyone, so with the new Destiny update for Explorers, especially as a hero, I thought I'd make a simple trading guide for beginner heroes starting from level 200 to 240. So the first map I recommend is any of these cave path maps. I've narrowed it down to like a few of the really great ones. But before that, if you're an intro hero, you're really weak, I recommend just starting off with Lake of Oblivion, the Happy Erdas, or the Raging Erdas. There's no real set rotation for these. You could just jump around and hit them. But if you don't have enough Arcane Force, I would recommend just going here. Otherwise, you could just AFK for a few days, stack up enough Arcane Force, join a guild, and then you could eventually train here. So let's start off with Eastern Cave Path 2. Just go here. It's a really simple rotation. All you do is just go left and right, and it basically hits all the plats, as you can see. So very simple. Just go left and right. All of these maps are pretty much the same, so this is very simple. If you have Beam Blade, you could use it over here, like whenever it's up, essentially. So that's the first map I recommend. After that, you could also go to Eastern Cave Path 1. This is the same map, same rotation. You could basically hit everything over here. But then for these top platforms over here on the edges, you have to use puncture. So as a beginner, you probably won't have it boosted, so this is if you really can't find a map and you really want to train. So I recommend Eastern Cave Path 2. Another one is Below the Cave. It's basically the same as Eastern Cave Path 2 but reversed. So as you can see, like the top plats start on the left, and if you use your Raging Blow, it will basically hit all the platforms pretty easily. Just go left and right. It's pretty brainless, so these levels will also go by really quick, and you train here basically until level 205. One final map I recommend over here is also Western Cave Path 2. If you go over here, some sort here, so let's see. Yeah, so it's also the same. You could also triple plat here as well, as you can see. You can basically hit all the platforms. This is a pretty low-key map. No one really knows about it. Most people train at either Eastern Cave Path 2 or Below the Cave. But if you really can't find a channel, you can just train here. I don't think that'll be a problem anymore since there's now 40 channels for the summer, and if you CC enough, eventually you'll find one. So that caps it off for Vanishing Journey. Yeah, so now the next area is when you're level 205, you should go over here to Reverse City. There's basically two maps that are really good. Hidden Research Train over here, everyone knows about this map, and also Hidden Underground Train as well. These maps have the most mob density in Research Train, so it's very effective to train here. Not only that, but they have higher Arcane Force, so because of that, these mobs have more XP, base XP. Let's start off with Hidden Research Train. This map is very populated, so it might be hard to find a channel, but let's see. Alright, we found one. So what you do is simply puncture over here, and then Raging Blow here. And this will hit everything on the right side. And puncture there. And yeah, it's pretty simple rotation. Very similar to the Vanishing Journey ones. And you basically stay here from level 205 to up to 215 if you're really weak. Because the Reverse City maps are basically much better than Choo Choo. You could just speed run a totem from 205 to 215. Maybe probably take like 2 totems, maybe a little bit more depending on how funded you are. Yeah, so this is the map I recommend the most. But if you can't find a channel, you could also go to Hidden Underground Train over here. Yeah, so you start off with puncture over here, and then puncture here. So this map actually requires using puncture a lot more. And yeah, that's all it is. It's pretty simple here. Also, when you're training, make sure you find the highest burning you can. So, due to the influx of players lately, especially for the summer, you're probably not going to find burning, but overall these maps go by really quick as well, so it's not too bad if you don't find burning. The last map I recommend is Research Train 1 right here. If you're on the weaker side, since this requires only 40 Arcane Force compared to over here, which is 100 Arcane Force, you can also train here as well. So very simple, just Raging Blow here, and then you can puncture the top plat on the right. There's no mobs that spawn on this top left platform, so you don't have to worry about puncture here. But yeah, basically Raging Blow, and then puncture on the right side. If you wanna like use Rising Rage, you can also use it over here. Also Beam Blade up here if you want, but that's too much effort. Just doing Raging Blow and punctures fine enough. And yeah, those are the 3 maps for Reverse City. You basically stay here from levels 205 to 215. But if you do want to train Choo-Choo, there's one map I really recommend. At level 210 to 215, you could stay here. It's Mottled Forest 3 right here. If you want to change things up, you could basically just go here. Let's see, find a new channel. Yeah, so you start off on the left, you puncture there, and then you just jump left and right. Pretty similar to most of the rotations we've seen so far. Just go left and right. Yeah. One thing I want to notice over here, there's this weird platform. Sometimes you might just jump and get stuck. Once you get the flow of this rotation, you'll be able to ignore that. So what I do is when you jump, you should land around like right here, do another flash jump, and you'll get over it. So when you land on this one, you're like around this position, and then if you flash jump again, you'll be fine. And yeah, you see right there, that way you don't get stuck. Yeah, really simple rotation. And just go left and right. That's basically the only Choo-Choo map. I don't really recommend Slippery Forest Thefts. A lot of people train there, and it's pretty hard to find a channel. This map is pretty much good enough. Especially right when you hit 210, you'll get that +1 final damage boost. For beginners out there, if you're within 1 level of the mob you're training at, you get a 20% final EXP boost. And if you're within 5 levels, it'll be 10% final damage, final EXP. So yeah, either train at Reverse City until 215 or this map until 215. After that, what you want to do next is unlock Yum Yum. And yeah, there's a few maps I recommend. I don't recommend any of these normal maps. The rotation's kind of clunky. The first one, of course, everyone knows about is Hidden Illard Field right here. This map is pretty packed, so it might be hard to find a channel. But yeah, let's see if we can find one. Alright, we found a channel here. All you do is puncture, 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 Rising Rage. And you see a puncture, puncture, Rising Rage. You can use Bait and Blade to clean up the stragglers. And yeah, this rotation's really easy, but the only drawback is you have to make sure you probably have to have your puncture node boosted. Since it's not part of the regular perfect trio, the primary one that you'll be using. So yeah, this is why I recommend having puncture boosted early game, because it helps out a lot of early game maps. As you can see, it's pretty nice rotation. Even though I don't have a totem, you can see you should be able to full clear the map as well. You don't even need to use Raging Blow at all. But yeah, it's a really simple rotation right here. Next, if you really can't find a map here, the next best option I would recommend would be Hidden Mushbud Forest right here. This map is pretty much the same. You just jump, puncture, puncture, puncture. And you basically clear the entire map. Puncture, puncture, puncture. And that's all you need. You don't need to use Raging Blow at all. And this map is basically always empty. Try to find like pretty high burning here, and you'll basically speedrun the game from here. These two maps you can train starting from 215, maybe even all the way up to 225 as well. It's really simple rotation. Yeah, basically exact same rotation as Hidden Illard Field. Another rotation, the last map in Yum Yum that I've tested is this one, all the way in the top right, Hidden Fungos Forest. What you do is Raging Blow, puncture, puncture. Pretty simple. Puncture, puncture, puncture. You can honestly just puncture the whole map as well. So basically for all the Hidden Illard Field, I mean all the Yum Yum Island maps, you can just puncture and then you'll full clear the entire map. So it's pretty well designed. Yeah, these options are really great up until level 220, even up to 225, since at Latchland you're gonna be able to have that a bigger Arcane Force difference. So yeah, Yum Yum is basically a great option until those levels I just stated. But once you hit 220, you go to Latch, depending on how funded you are. Yeah, there's a couple of options. The first one is Rev 3. Just kidding, don't go to Rev 3. It's a pretty bad map. It's very packed, very crowded, and it's because of the house, it's not really that like great. There's better options out there, so I'll go over them as well. So the first one I recommend is Rev Place 1 right here. What's great about this map is it has probably the biggest mob density in Latch. It's about 30 mobs. So you just start by Raging Blow, and you can see it hits the entire top 2 plats. And yeah, you just go around hitting everything like this. Yeah, as you can see, I just fell. You're gonna get a feel of this map after a while, and it'll be pretty smooth after a bit. It takes a bit to get used to. You can also use your Beam Blade here. It hits both plats as well, and puncture that edge if you want. So this is the first map I recommend. You can also train here off totem as well, since there's such a high mob count. But yeah, up to you guys if you guys like this map or not. Another recommendation is OS2. This is a classic map. It has very high mob density. It's also pretty packed since a lot of classes train here as well, as you can see. Let's see if we can find a channel. Alright, right here. So you start off on the left side, Rising Rage over here, puncture there, and then puncture right there, and it hits both the top plat. And yeah, all you do is go like this, Rising Rage, and just jump around. You could jump around left and right as I did, or you could just kill the whole spawn, wait for it to respawn, and go again. So you start off with Rising Rage, puncture, and then puncture again. And use Raging Blow to clean up the stragglers. Like this. And if your Rising Rage isn't up yet, you could also use your Beam Blade diagonally like this, and it hits everything up there. So yeah, that's a pretty good rotation. These maps are pretty good just because of the high mob density. Another option is also OS1. So for these maps, between OS2 and OS1, OS2 is slightly better just because there's a bigger, higher mob count. But if you like this map just because you could puncture everything over here and then Rising Range like that, it's all personal preference. So just see which rotation you like better, since when you pop a totem, it'll be 2 hours and you'll be at the same map for 2 hours. So whichever map feels more comfortable to you, you could just choose that one. Yeah, so Beam Blade or Rising Rage on the right, and then just puncture the left side over here. And then Raging Blow to clean up the stragglers. The only drawback is, at this level, you're going to want to have your Beam Blade pretty high level, that way you could just one-shot the mobs. And also puncture as well, as stated in the other map in Yum Yum. So those are the two OS2 maps. Another map I recommend is Chicken Fez 2. So normally a lot of people train at Rev 3 because it's so brain dead, everyone goes here, and it's a really simple rotation, small map. But Chicken Fez 2 is just like a slightly better version. There's one more mob count in here, and it's really simple. All you do is do this. You double plat the entire map. So just go left and right. I don't think this map gets as great rates as OS2 or Rev Place 1, but it's really a simple map if you don't want to think at all. If you just want to pop your totem and just watch movies, watch a Netflix show, and just go left and right without even focusing at all. So this is just like an upgraded version of Rev Place 3 for heroes. And yeah, that about covers all of the maps I've tested in Latch. Basically, you train at these maps from level 220 to 230, depending on how funded you are. Since at 225, you can go to Arcana, but as stated, if you're speedrunning the game, you might not have enough Arcane Force yet. So it's perfectly fine to stay here from 220 to 230. But yeah, if you're pretty funded, pretty strong, you've been doing a lot of dailies, next area up is Arcana. So the first map I recommend is right here, the Forest of Earth. Everyone trains here though, so it's going to be pretty packed. But if you could somehow find a map, it's a pretty good spot from levels 225 to probably 235. So let's see if we can find a channel. Alright, right here. So to start off this rotation, what you do is just Raging Blow, Rising Rage in the middle, Raging Blow. And then wait for the mobs to respawn, do the same thing, and then Beam Blade over here. That way, you basically alternate Beam Blade and Rising Rage for the middle spot. As you can see, it hits the entire spot over there. Also, you can use Puncture to get that this area right here. And use make sure you don't use the TP portal like I just did. But yeah, I just do this a little bit more so you guys see the entire flow. Just wait for the mobs to respawn. You can Puncture right there. Rising Rage. I think I just lag spike, so I'll keep doing it so you guys could see how it is. Puncture there. Beam Blade. Puncture. Right. Raging Blow. Yeah, you also still have to wait for the mobs to spawn as well, because when you're training at this map, you'll be on totem, so just go left and right at your own pace. Whatever you find more comfortable. Yeah, this map is really great just because it has a really high mob spawn, and it's like the best one out of the early game maps over here. So all these maps over here, they're all trash except Forest of Earth. It's really great just because the level is 232 and it has a lower arcane force than all the other maps all around here. But yeah, once you're 230 to 235, honestly, like 230 to 240, you'll probably stay at Arcana. When you're 230, the map I first recommend is right here, Volatile and Toxic Forest 1 or TF1. This is basically the map I trained in when I was 230 all the way to 240. It's a really secret OP map, so I'll show the rotation to you guys. What's really great about this is there's usually very high burning, and also has very high mob density spawn. So what you do is Raging Blow, Puncture over here, Raging Blow, Puncture, and then Rising Rage. You could wait for the mobs to spawn, use Beam Blade, and just repeat. Yeah, as you can see, it's a really relaxing map, honestly. You just go left and right and use 3 skills, and yeah, Beam Blade, Puncture, Raging Blow, Puncture, Raging Blow, Raging Blow. Yeah, this map has honestly the best rates in Arcana that I've tested, but no one really knows about it. Yeah, so I highly recommend this map. Just keep CCing, look for the highest burning, and just train here. This is like the best option from 230 to 240, even 245 if you don't want to go to Celis, and if you have really low arcane force, for example. It's way better than LP1. Everyone recommends LP1 right here just because everyone honestly trains here, but this is like the super secret map, TF1. But yeah, you could go to LP1 next. Really simple map. I personally never trained here, but just because TF1 is just way better. But now that this place has more burning as well, and it's also really simple, you could train here as well. But yeah, you could just go left and right between the map. It's a really small map, and there's not as much spawn density as TF1, which is why you're definitely gonna probably get less EXP rates and MSO rates. Yeah. But if you want to be even lazier, I guess you could just train here. Another strat is use your Burning Soul Blade and put it right here at the top. Yeah, and then just left and right. Another reason why I didn't really like this map is as you kill a lot of monsters, you're gonna have these plats on the right and the left that are pretty hard to loot unless you have a vac pet. If you have a vac pet, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, you're still gonna get better muscle rates actually than TF1, but that was back when I tested it, so things might be slightly different. But highly recommend this map. Then you could go to LP1. The last map I recommend is LP2 if you're really lazy. This map has one more mob than LP1, so you're gonna probably get better rates here. I personally haven't tested this, but I was just trying it out and it seems pretty simple. So you just go Raging Blow, fall down, and as you can see, you could hit everything just from going left and right. So it's a really simple brain dead rotation. However, like right here, you have to get the jump right so you don't fall like what I just did. It takes a bit of practice, but go like this. Alright, never mind, I messed up right there. But just try this map out if you really want to. If you're in the 230s range, because these mobs are pretty high level. So yeah, it's a really simple rotation, as you can see. I don't even think any class trains here from what I've seen. It's yeah, like a pretty new map that I've seen, just because our new Raging Blow can hit all the mobs up here. You can also go left and right if you want to, but it's personal preference. And yeah, that pretty much covers Arcana. So the first recommendation is TF1. Really nice map. You could also get started here really early just because the mobs are at 235 and 236. Since LP1 the mobs are much higher, so just because of the level difference, it's really hard to train here and one shot right when you get to Arcana. Even at level 230, there's like a big difference if you don't have enough Arcane Force. And then LP2 is also another great map. Same thing though, since the mobs are 239, you could probably try it out when you're like around level 235 to and then train here until 240. And yeah, that's about it. That covers the beginner training guide from level 200 to 240. I'll probably make a new video for mid-game players from 240 and maybe like a late game one later on. But yeah, this should get you guys all started. I haven't tested out like every map. There might be some hidden secret rotations over here, but just from checking out all the maps and looking at their mob counts, this is what I found from my research. If you guys have any other map suggestions, feel free to comment below and post your rates too as well, so then we can see which maps are actually good. For example, the latch maps I've like never tested. Basically all these early games maps I haven't really tested with totems or anything, since I'm just a much higher level, so I can't really get accurate mob counts or meso exp rates at my current level. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and hope this video helped you guys all out.